Greetings, Sacred Wednesday Circle. I'm thinking about you, missing you, feeling you. If you saw the email, you saw this corridor, and when I was walking it for the first time, I had that sense of an adventure. I had that sense of, I don't know what I'm walking into. And I've never been in this position before, at least in the memory of this lifetime. So what is it all about? Why are my footprints being left in this hallway, lined with rooms of people who are going through a deep healing in their nervous system? So this special circle is about that adventure of life. That adventure that you may plan to go on a trip, or you may be inspired, but you don't know the details of how certain journeys along the way are going to unfold. And I want to talk to you a little bit about a special pillar on the path of becoming spiritually empowered by the experience of life. These are one of our pillars: adventure. I'm going to have a special class where I go through, or a series more so, 9 pillars that have revealed themselves as I've gone through the training of being a healing minister, seeing clients from that holistic educational perspective and seeing clients from the recovery perspective, healing from addictions and behaviors that are self-destructive. This idea I want to speak to you about adventure today. So let's just put our palms together, close the eyes, press the thumbs into the sternum, and just listen to the breath. Feel the inhale, and just sense the exhale. Feeling your contact points on the earth as you inhale and exhale. Inhale, feel the quality of it. Feel how it's designed. Feel the gratitude for everything it does. Top of the inhale, hold. Sense your gratitude for life. As you exhale, we're going to hold at the bottom, activating the parasympathetic nervous system, integrating and calming aspect of the nervous system. Hold at the bottom. Feel the process of being able to let go. As you open your eyes, inhale, and just allow the breath to become normal. So we have this concept or this topic today around the role of a spiritual adventure in recovering your true self. So what is this idea of the true self? Let's review some concepts for a moment. And we're saying that there's a design to your being that gives you the capacity to be infinitely creative. And that allows you to solve problems. The problem of suffering. It allows you to create solutions for the problems we face. Recovering your true self. That is the infinite aspect of who you are within this physical body. And then there's the idea of this energy of spirit. And I was just hesitating because, wow. Well, let me come back to that, and I'll tie that in, that hesitation in that moment. But the idea of considering yourself a spiritual being, considering energy of the universe that is non-physical, can't put in your hands, but yet it is the foundation of everything spiritual. And then there's the adventure. Through that foundation of energy, there is a way to travel through it without the mind attempting to control and create meaning out of the experience, where you're free to experience this true self and the capacity that it has to interact with creation, the field, as it would be said in quantum physics, creating a deep sense of freedom, a deep sense of being able to travel through life without the bondage of the mind creating meaning out of experiences that in no way supports you moving into your higher self as a creative being. So we have no need to dwell in the space of fear, of the unknown, or feel trapped by circumstances we can't understand. And so this is where I ask you the question about the path of your life, and what adventure do you know you need to take? If you look at adventure as a way of doing things differently so that you evolve beyond the mind's interpretation of your identity, who you are. For example, I can look at myself as a spiritual empowerment coach, a spiritual recovery coach, a holistic health educator. I can look at myself in those ways. I can look at myself as a father. But when I look at myself as a son, that is, you could say S-U-N, S-O-N, but I'm coming to you from University of Birmingham, Alabama University Hospital. And I am in the neurology ward, or neurology section of the hospital. And this is where people who have strokes, they wind up here, as well as other people with neurological disorders. But this is something going on with the circulation of energy in the body when we talk about the nervous system, how that light energy flows through the body. And this is very much connected to how we look at life, whether it's with these two eyes or how we look at life internally and begin to place meaning to it. So my mother yesterday morning had a stroke, and we fell asleep talking and woke up with her not being able to talk the way we were talking before she went to sleep, and communicating from a place of her subconscious, things that she's bringing up is really bringing out of me the patience to understand what is the spirit of the communication going on. So now I'm passing this on to you around the spirit of the communication that you have with yourself, right? The spirit of, dwell in that now, because whatever's happening or going to happen in our life, we're going to be connected to that spirit of who we are, that spiritual energy, that true self. If we practice connecting to it, if or when, however way life is designed, and we accept it as an adventure, then we are embarking on a journey of knowing who we are. So when the unexpected moment comes, we've created a pathway, a connection, a neural pathway, a pattern of connecting to that space, like we do when we take that inhale and we feel that inhale. We're connecting to the space of consciousness. And what I find emerging out of my mother are spaces of her journey where she's experienced, as she said, I've gone through a lot. There are these recollections about her life, and coming from this place where sometimes she feels like, quite frankly, I'm not going to get well. what is it to connect to the true creative self, even though the body is going through something that is so uncomfortable and new, never experienced before? How can we shift that into the experience of adventure? And I'm beginning to see the importance of this pillar of adventure, and how taking it consciously, when the body goes into a transformation, when a circumstance happens that's beyond your control and feels overwhelming, that you can experience the overwhelm, but there's this space to connect on the path of the adventure. So what's the adventure for you? I'm on an adventure of supporting my mother through these physiological and physical changes in her life. And therefore it's bringing up a new experience of caring in ways that I knew it would come, but I didn't know how. Yeah. What's your adventure where you know you have this ability, you know you're on a certain adventure? Or let's say, you know that you can look at your life and witness the adventure that you're on. What is that adventure for you? And what are the ways you know you need to develop yourself? Over this last week, I know I needed to develop my patience, to develop a deep sense of knowing that there's an ability to meet this moment, even if my mind doesn't know how. I can step into the unknown of the moment, not knowing how it's going to unfold, and know that it will in a most perfect way. And when I stay open to that, and I encourage you, when you stay open to the breath, and you open yourself up to the journey, your higher self, the self we're talking about recovering, the yoga begins to fill in the spaces that the mind cannot calculate. And all of a sudden, there's support. All of a sudden, there are people who want to know what you need, and you can begin to express what you need, and miracles show themselves. So as we wind down, the deep homework assignment here, this love mission, is to move into a sense of recognizing you're on an adventure, and begin to scribe what that adventure is, as if it's an epic story. And next, part B, what do you need to develop? Maybe you're in a circumstance right now, and you can look at that as an adventure, and what is the circumstance saying you need to develop, you need to work on? Sometimes my mother would say, you don't know how to take care of people when they're sick. You know, she's just coming out. You know, it's just an unconscious just coming out. Now, I could be offended by that, or I can go inside and say, okay, what is it coming to teach? Right? And I say, I do the best I can. You know, and it says, well, your best is not good enough. And then I get a chance to take that on the adventure, not taking it personal, right? Because then I get the inspiration. I said, well, I do what God gives me the ability to do, and I learn along the way. Yeah? So I get a chance to affirm myself. So now that energy has become a teacher to grow confident and affirm the path that I walk, the way that I learn, the way that this mind thinks. You see? So go into it as an adventure where you are unfolding in a perfect way to be what you came here to be, and allow this energy of you, that's what we call spirit, this spiritual adventure in recovering your true self, that you experience the joy of knowing you, the joy of knowing you. All right, so follow that breath. This is the assignment. Follow the breath as you're flowing through life. Begin to incorporate the breath into your life. And I will see you next week. One way or another, we're going to keep this flow going and growing. Email me and let me know what what your adventure is. All right. Until next week, one love.